Morning, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Catamas, and it is the Sacred Sunday Show, and a reminder that we can make any moment, any day sacred just by choosing seeing the divine in all, starting with ourselves. And I'm really, really happy because we get to have with us two people that I believe really embody that and practice that. And so we're going to have an opportunity to learn from them and be inspired by them. Um, and of course, I'm talking about the two friends here, Shekinah and Sananda. So welcome, and thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Blessings, dear Scott, and beautiful community.
Blessings.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
You know,
we're so happy.
we usually start our morning with a meditation, and I can lead it, but I would love if one of or both of you feel so inspired, and I should have asked during a little pre-show chat, would one or both of you enjoy leading a meditation to just help us all drop in?
Sure.
Absolutely.
We always do everything together.
Yeah.
Great. All right. I love that. I'm putting the spotlight on you and take it away.
Beautiful. Just take a moment to close your eyes and just presence yourself in this sacred Sunday, the beautiful day that we honor the sun, not only externally, but internally, the sun and the light of that sun within each and every one of you, in every single heart that is here. Just take a moment just to place your hands on your chest or whatever feels comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in to the center of your heart and breathe out. As you breathe out, just relaxing your shoulders, your torso, your neck, and breathing in again into the center of your heart, and allowing that light in the center expand with every in-breath. The breath of life flows through you as you, sustains you, connects you to all creation. As we presence you into this beautiful container of light where there's many beloveds all around the world, anchoring and pillaring light. If you want to take a moment just to feel that expansive nature of this container as we all come together with one family. Just feel your lights expanding out through your environment and out across your nation, across the world itself, just feeling that expanded field of intelligence, of love, of peace. As you feel that, we invite more of that energy in, more harmony, more peace, more sanctity, more purity. When we open this container up, the heavenly hosts to surround, we, the messengers of light, to send these frequencies out to all the beautiful, blessed ones that aren't here on this day, that need love in their life, that need peace, healing, joy and happiness.
Take a moment now to experience your own sacred heart. Feel that spark igniting, becoming that sun for this sacred Sunday, and emanating that light across the world. Expanding even further now beyond this world and beyond into the cosmos. Feel yourself light, gentle, supple, and soft. Bringing in divine grace into every single cell, igniting that light in every particle, in every subatomic particle with you.
And as you feel this expansion and this illuminescence, we now invite you to anchor into your omnicentric point within your heart, to create a pillar between the heavens and the cosmos,
The
to the earth.
omnicentric golden sun.
So just visualize a pillar of light now coming from this expanded state down through your crown, down your spine, and down into the earth, and just bringing you here and now. Relaxed, expanded, present, and focused. Grounded, rooted on the earth,
Grateful,
and expanded in the heavens.
grateful, present, and graceful in this moment now.
And so as you come back to the body, maybe take a moment just to express what you're grateful for on this day, what you're grateful for in this moment. Whether you want to type that, if you're on Facebook, you want to type that into the chat. If you're in the Zoom room, if you want to type that into the chat. But just expressing your gratitude so we can create a beautiful, coherent container, peace, love, harmony, and gratitude. And through this beautiful satsang, we can shine that light and share that love with all of humanity. Blessed be.
Blessed be, and so it is.
And so it is.
I am first grateful for so many things, but I'm grateful for the resonance of your voices. Of course, your words were beautiful and perfect, but it's the resonance of each of your voices that really took me places. So I'm grateful for that. And it's the resonance of one's voice that helps us to feel their soul, to feel the being, and to feel where they are, to feel where they're at. And so thank you for taking me and us into a very beautiful state.
Beautiful. You're most welcome, beloved Scott.
It's
And
our joy.
yes, and as you share resonance of voice, the voice is so powerful. It literally has the signature of your past expression, your present expression, and your future expressions. And we actually, just this week, we're diving into the sonic alchemy of voice and how one's voice is literally expressing the unseen geometry of one's soul. And we believe, and we have specific technology in this age, where in this Aquarian age, where just through voice alone, you can bring
Coherence.
your entire coherence to every single cell of your body, just by, and that's what everyone needs to become more dialed into, is the resonance of and the purity of voice and that sacred spoken words.
And the thing about voice, beloved Scott, is that it holds geometry. When it reaches a certain expression, it holds and has geometries that is sent through. It's sent through time and space. And that's where you can really feel it in the omnicentric presence of the heart that then creates magic everywhere else.
And right now, just on our property, we have two big condors that have just come up where we are in the foothills of Ashland. So we have the winged ones that are coming to share their presence with us today.
Wow.
So inviting that in.
I love the medicine of different animals, and how interesting that I was so touched by your voice and your resonance. And then what you just shared about that was fascinating. And of course, I'm going to ask you about TwinRay and such, but just on the voice and resonance of sound, I've often heard that kind of the miraculous things that were built, the pyramids, Machu Picchu in Peru, that they actually moved the stones through sound and through the sound of voice that they had. The Egyptians and the Mayans had mastered how to use combined human vocal quality to move these incredible pieces of stone. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that from different sources. I'm curious if that resonates for either of you.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
We also used the third eye connection, and how the voice and the third eye in connection holds that power to then be able to move, create, dissolve, nearly anything.
It's quite interesting as well, because when you look at these megalithic sites, the stones at the top are actually older than the stones at the bottom. So it shows that the pyramidal structures have been created from the top down, not the bottom up, which is really fascinating. And I mean, we can definitely dive into when it comes to
We can dive
sacred,
into anything that you
when it goes into sacred science and sacred structures. Where we are right now, the acoustics of we have a decagram, and this basically is a rounded shape of a temple that has a 10-sided, which is basically 2 pentagrams put together. And the resonance here is actually placed on a sacred node. And so it's not just the physical biology and body and energetic field that has to come into alignment with the sonic presence to move and levitate things, but what actually was utilized is the earth grids. So the earth grids have slow-standing sound
waves.
Yeah, slow-standing sound waves. It's a bit of a mouthful sometimes, but these are like subsonic frequencies. And what they do, the ley line grids, they're basically little ripples that go around the earth, and they create like the veins, basically, like just like your body has the endocrine system, has the meridian system, obviously, so there's a body of earth.
Which is your tree of life.
Yeah, your tree of life goes through your biology and out through your bioenergy field.
So too does the earth have her own tree of life.
Yeah, and so these lines, these lays, essentially have these sonic frequencies at a very subatomic level, and they vibrate from the magnetic crystalline core of the earth. They come out from an outer influence from the sun and the galaxy at large. They create these ripples, and then when you tap into that flow, that electromagnetic, and also what supersedes the electromagnetic flow, which is this cosmic energy, the plasma energy, you can actually come into alignment, use your physical body as like a tuning fork, and use your energy field to partner with solid mass, and then you can actually gravitate and create levitational fields, which of zero gravity fields that then allow whatever it may be, whether it be a stone, whether it be an object, an item, you can actually put that into a gravitational field utilizing the energetics of the earth already, and then put it into precision. So the third eye comes with actually the placement of it.
That's
the
right.
Physical body comes with the energetic capacity to hold it, and the earth creates that field of the 0 point energy that, and scientists are actually getting to this point and beginning to tap into the understanding of free energy here. And when you tap into free energy, you can actually tap into like zero gravity fields. And when there's zero gravity fields, this is how you can go into teleportation. This is where you can go beyond space-time. So it's a very interesting conversation that's just been very organic, that we've just spoken into this. But right where we are, we're on this very powerful grid that goes through Shasta. Shasta's just a few miles away from us, Mount Shasta. And Shasta goes through a very interesting biocircuitry of the earth as well. And where we are, we have this decagram that has an acoustic resonance that's been literally designed in order to create a transcendental state through vibration, because just voice alone can take you into unlimited consciousness.
Wow. I've about 13 different places we could all go with everything you just shared. And again, I noticed that I'm attracted to what you're saying and the words and the concepts and the ideas. This is part of me that wants to go, oh yeah, I know about that, or I want to know more. But I also really feel the impression in my body from both of your voices. It's and it's interesting. It's reminding me. I had the good fortune to swim with dolphins for many, many hours. Um, and there was one in particular that was relating to me really beautifully. She let me ride her and hold on. It was amazing. But she was sending me her wisdom through the way I felt her coming into my body is the way I'm feeling both of you coming into my body right now. Um, and she was clearly sending me, or through a wave of energy, her wisdom. And by the way, whales and dolphins are way, way more wise than we are, and they have larger brains, they have much larger capacity. Um, and
They
I
are
really
ma-
was.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
master being.
they are ascended masters themselves that come
Yeah.
through. They're master beings, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say, I can't recall a time where I felt such a similar vibration in my body as I'm experiencing both of you right now. I have to go all the way back to that time with the dolphins, which was many years ago. So, and I just sharing with you my experience. So it's very cool.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah,
Very
that's very beautiful. And you're right. The whales, the dolphins, the cetaceans are the ancient record keepers of the oceans themselves. This body, my actual ancestral lineage, coming from the Aboriginal line, the original people of Australia, actually is whale tribe. So I'm very much connected. Both of us, of course, are to the cetaceans and the record keepers. And we had a beautiful opportunity to actually take our community to the Big Islands, and we got to swim with the dolphins. And on this very special day, we said, well, we're going to see whales. We're going to see whales today. And the driver of the boats,
oh, yes.
she was like, well, I hope you can guarantee that because we haven't seen them for 4 months. And I'm like, we said,
We absolutely can, and,
yeah,
and we
they
promise
will.
they will be there.
There'll be miracles today. And sure enough, they're beautiful.
They all came.
Like about 30 of them. It was about 30 of them came. And we had beautiful pods. And so, yeah, and the interesting thing, why I bring this up is language itself, how dolphins speak. Not many people actually know how they actually speak. And we were very fortunate to have a conversation with a dear friend of ours, and he's very deep into advanced technology, science, and understanding the technology of water. And he was able to perform a specific measurement of how dolphins actually communicate. And what they found through the supercomputer that they were utilizing is how dolphins communicate is actually through 3D holographic projection imagery. So their sonic vibration literally creates a standing wave of a 3D projection. And how they map this out is because they were sitting at the shores with some dolphins, and they were basically able to give them a rubber ducky every time they would throw the rubber ducky out. The dolphin would bring it back in. They would give a fish, and then the dolphin would communicate to its brother and sister through sending out a rubber ducky. But inside that rubber ducky would literally have all the reference points of what they would have to do in order to get a fish. So they would know through sending that out, just as an image, that actually you have to collect this, you have to pick this up, you bring it back to them, and you jump over here, and then you get a fish. And then so in that one holographic standing wave of a projection, all that data, all that intelligence is there. And so
That brings us actually back to the ancient of libraries, whereby libraries and communication was in the form of geometry.
yeah,
And so, or sigils, and through that, there would be just infinite libraries of information with even just that one sigil
yeah.
or that one geometry.
And so how they would see is literally they would create a sonic wave. It would rearrange the molecules of water in such a way to give it the definition for them to actually perceive. And then their inner eye, their inner intelligence, the inner waters of their body would then receive that communication and know instantaneously what is being spoken. So there's a lot to be learnt from the wisdom of the ocean, the wisdom of the cetaceans, the wisdom of the ancient forms of life.
You know, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because personally, that's what I experienced. I was aware that the dolphin was sending me so much information with each sonic expression, and I knew that it was all going to have to come through my subconscious, right? It was beyond way beyond the logical mind, and she was, communicating and connecting with me on a deeper level. So thank you for explaining that. Okay, I know that we've got only 25 minutes, so I do want to acknowledge all the people we've got about 80 people in the chat room, and I'm going to save your chat. I'll send it to Sananda and Shekinah so they can see it later on after the show, but they have so much to offer that I'm going to pretty much focus on a few questions with you during our time together. I want to ask you right off the bat, what is a twin ray? And what's the difference between kind of the twin, it's hard to say twin ray without something funny sometimes, twin ray, versus a twin flame. In my prayer group this morning, they said, oh, you're going to be with the twin flames today. I said, no, it's the twin rays. So please help us to understand the differentiations.
Beautiful.
Well, let's talk a little bit about twin flames before we get into twin ray.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to ask everyone for a moment to close their eyes, visualize two flames and a beautiful fire. You can watch the flames, they move in and out of each other. They dance, they go, they return. One comes higher, one comes lower. There's a balancing that is always happening with flames. Now, if we were to personify those flames as humanity has done with the twin flames as people or beings or souls, twin flames come together to create a bigger flame. Twin flames come together to, again, personifying the energy of the masculine and the feminine to help them balance their own internal masculine and feminine spirit flames within them. Now, twin flames go through what's called the hero's journey of the soul. And as twin flames come together, generally in their last incarnation, they are actively doing work for the planet. They are activists in different ways, and they come together to support the earth, support humanity in a certain way. Now, as each one is going through their own journey, when they come together, they ignite a greater flame, a larger flame, that then ignites a faster evolution for their ascension.
And that flame could be likened to the fire of the soul, like the creative fire, the creative light of the soul that can be ignited by these beautiful couples coming together. And there's actually 7 different permutations of a twin flame.
And possibly 8, depending on the soul's journey itself. But yes, definitely 7.
And which just very simply maps into the energy body. So where are you referencing in your physical body? Like obviously everyone has the 7 personal chakras, but where are you stabilized the most? What's your default state?
Where is it most dominant that you transmit from, that you live from?
Yeah, and it's not saying one is higher than the other, but generally twin flames come together when they're in their hearts, when they're really in their heart and they have that connection with each other. And that, again, they come together for planetary work. They come together to also work with each other, to ascend each other. And be great role models for the world in that ascension process. But there's also that process of going into the shadows and going into the deep soul psychology and understanding, like using each other as the relationship deserves, as to relate to the self, the true self. Because there's only truly one beloved, and that is God's, that is the divine, that is these great spirits. But how that manifests can be in a beautiful relationship, such as a twin flame. And there's other relationships like soulmates
of course.
and flame mates. And there's other different categories if we went into that. But what we want to express is that the difference between a twin flame so much, and I say what we're speaking of as a twin ray, is that the flame is in its dance. The flame comes together, expands, it comes out, and there's this beautiful harmonic dance together. Now, a twin ray, if you look at, and how we explain the twin ray is through the personal understanding of a relationship in a sacred marriage. We express it also through planetarily, the understanding of the energetics on the planetary level. And there's also the prophetic understanding through prophecy, what has been said in different dialects, different civilizations, and different times about that sort of expression of the twins, so to speak. And so at a personal level, and how we express Twin Ray as our community is through non-dual spirituality. So perceptually, there's two rays, but it's just one light. So through that concept of that, it's seemingly two, but actually just one. Seemingly two bodies, just one consciousness. Yes. That's very much the simplified nature of what Twin Ray. We've gone through that initiatic journey, gone through the process.
The soul's journey is complete.
The soul's journey is complete. There's the soul has now just become spirits, and everyone truly is that spirit. But that soul still has its karmic lessons and evolution to go through. And so we've gone through that individually on our own journey. We went through that, and then we came together through the completion of that initiatic process, and we've come back together in a married couple.
But yet neither one of us are the same souls that incarnated originally into the vessels and the bodies from birth.
We chose these hosts, we chose these vessels, we chose to come through these bodies. And that's another concept to go into. Shekinah, for example, she came into the body after it went through a 6-day and 6 nights death initiation. So she physiologically died. The body did, and then the consciousness obviously came through. So we are different expressions to what once inhabited these bodies in the very beginning. So we're not the same souls and we don't so much identify as a soul. We just understand pure spirit. So Twin Ray is where pure spirits is embodied through the vehicle, but it always comes in twos. And we're going to take this understanding even further with planetary mechanics to understand how energy always comes in twos. But before we do so,
it does feel important to share also that a twin ray comes during a cosmic cycle, and it comes for a reason, several reasons, but the main reason is to birth twin flames. The main reason is to bring about an ease that up until now, twin flames have had such a hard time coming together because the ego faces itself in a way that it is terrified to do so. And the ego is terrified to face itself as love. And so Twin Ray comes to say, Mother and Father of divine unions, we're going to birth your energies so that you can all come together with a greater ease and grace. So no longer are there 144,000 twin flame couples can come together. Now it's 144 million.
Wow.
Since we've
and how we understand the ascension of the planet. First, it happens at the third dimensional. There's this individual path. It's where you see many of the past expressions that have done the journey by themselves. It's never really in a relationship. Through antiquity, it's never really been depicted through
old sages in the caves, the
would renounce the world, would go into the caves, and it'd be more the solo journey. The next evolution of that is when couples come together. And there's that ascension that takes place within the unification of relationship. Then the next evolution of that is where full communities come together and they ascend together in the container of soul family, in the monadic container. And then the next level to that is when a whole planet comes together and ascends together. And so we're experiencing that through different degrees, through this new age, through this new Aquarian cycle of time. And so for us, it's very much what we find ourselves doing is being more spiritual parents to our community, to support them through their hero journey, through their soul's journey, to help them ascend, teach them the ascension mechanics, teach them the ascension teachings, to transcend the struggle, the polarity struggle of polarity integration, and also teach them the very sacred science of inner alchemy. Because your body is the greatest technology. Your physical body and your energetic field is the most supreme technology in this entire universe. When you can learn how to attune to the harmonic rhythms of the universe, you can tune into the time cycles, you tune into the cycles of your own body, you create this alchemic laboratory, and you can literally create sacred substances that create youth for the body to reset the cells. You can regenerate the cells. You also can create certain sacred substances within the physical body that help propel ascension. And when we talk about ascension, we're not talking about ascending out of this planet or out into some another realm. And even though that is possible, we talk from ascension from internal biocircuitry, internal biology. We talk about ascension from what it is when the Kundalini start tapping into that powerful force and you start working with the electromagnetic, the masculine, feminine principle inside you, and you start bringing that energy up and you start ascending it up through your spine. We talk about how you ascend in vibration, how your energetic fields, the field that surrounds you, that holds the template for the physiological imprint of your body, how that actually starts being impressed into the physical body and you hold more light. Your light quotient goes up. You have a higher vibratory rate. And that when you're in a higher vibratory rate, there's no more disease. There's no more disharmony. It's because your vibration is so high, so calibrated, is in such resonance that you're in complete alignment, physiologically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally.
Nothing can touch you.
Yeah. And so we teach that life mastery, that spiritual mastery of how to come into that.
We give them the tools, also the healing tools, to be able to master themselves in a way that it's not about healing, it's about holding. It's about returning to wholeness.
That you are perfect. You know, the light of your soul, the light of spirit itself is truly whole and perfect and complete. That the physiological body may forget that. So it's about retraining and re-educating the body to remember that. But when we speak of the twin ray, how it's been spoken in antiquity is, for example, the Christos Sophia, the Hieros Gamos, the Unio Mystica.
But you have to have an ascended consciousness to be able to really embody this.
Yeah, like 100%. Not just on Sundays, but every moment, every day. You know, you are that impeccable, and that's really your true nature, is to be the expressions of the virtues of spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we really. So what we teach is not really learning these new things, even though it may seem like new things. It's actually just unlearning all this stuff that doesn't support you. It's an unlearning journey. It's releasing the stuff that is limitation. It's releasing the things that create separation and division. And that's really what our whole Twin Ray Academy is about, is teaching you your own mastery in order to become the full expression of divine love. And that's what Twin Ray really represents for us, is divine love expressed and embodied as unified in in our marriage and in our community, in our service and in our life. And we show up like that because that's what we are, and that's what everyone is. And all we are is a reminder to everyone to return home back to that true love that you truly are.
And a twin ray also has a different level of responsibility.
Yeah.
The impeccability that must be expressed in all moments, with every thought, with every action, with every deed, is a trickle-down effect into the collective in a different way.
Yeah, it's sort of like understanding one's magnetics, right? Say when your fields, if your field expands, your bioenergy field, and it starts expanding to the point where it's encompassing miles and miles and miles, or you start attuning to the magnetic field and the energetic field of the entire earth, and you start blanketing the entire earth. And so whatever thought you have, whatever action you do, in allowing it to be dharmic, is influencing positively the consciousness of the planet. And now that's why we always express to our community, always, like every single thing you do, every single thing you heal, every single thing you say is affecting the world. And more that you grow in your spirituality, the more effect you have. And so the larger your field, the more of a catalyst for change, and for good, and for love. And so we share this because sometimes when people hear about twin ray, oh, I want one of them, or they hear about flames, it's like, oh yeah, I want that. Where's my, I want
Whatever
that.
the highest possible
whatever the
level
pinnacle would
feels like, that's what.
But one doesn't realize that it's not about an attainment. It's not about I need this or I want this from a desire level. And this will probably sound true for everyone that's listening. When you truly when something truly comes into your life, it's not because you were trying to grab it and grasp it and chase it. It's because it naturally, spontaneously happens. Because the inner reality projects and manifests the outer reality. And when it comes to twin flame and twin ray and all the different twins or flames or all those different categories and subcategories, it's not about trying to get to the highest level, thinking that it's a journey to try to reach and attain something that's in a tier sequence. It's not about that. It's about being love. And however love shows up and however love manifests, no matter what word is expressing that, it doesn't matter what you are. It's not about becoming someone. It's about being who you truly already are. Love. And the love
and it's
that
all mapped in the stars.
Yeah, and the love that we're sharing is not a love that you can take something away from or add something to. It's perfect. It's a perfect love. And now everyone in their life has their destiny path that's already mapped in the stars. The very moment of birth, the very breath you take, that pranic signature that holds the entire stellar constellation, they are mapped into your bioenergy field and your biocircuitry. So every single thing that you have the opportunity, because everything is free will in your opportunity of life, you have it mapped there. So for example, when you have certain dispositions, you have certain character traits that are sometimes influenced by cultural conditioning, sometimes through family conditioning, but a lot of the impressions that the soul comes with is through past lives that then come into this life. And so you have a destiny path that's laid out for you. It's not trying to attain something that is not your destiny, but just to live truly your dharma, which is upholding
the cosmic law,
universal principle, which is the balance of the masculine and the feminine, the balance of action and intent, understanding your true intent, where it's coming from. And when you live that, your unique expression is yours alone. That's what the jiva is known as in Eastern philosophy. The jiva is a unique expression of the atma. The jiva atma, the atma is like the micro version of the soul light of Brahma, and the jiva is a unique expression of that. And so your soul, your astro alignments are those messages that are mapped into inside the body and also in the body of your star constellations that show you your destiny path. And we can actually map through astrology twin flame couples. Because what happens, there's certain telltale signs that actually go. For example, this is just one of them.
The nodes.
The north and south node, if anyone knows anything about astrology on this call, we'll do a very simple explanation. But basically in astrology, there's something called a north node and a south node. And basically they're just chakra vortexes. The north node is like the soul chakra that sits above the heads. And the south node is like the earth star chakra that's below the feet. And this is the chakra system or the vortexual structure that the soul comes in through. It comes in through the earth star chakra and then comes into the physical body. And when it leaves to the soul star chakra. And so this is the mechanism of how souls actually come into the earth grids and actually incarnate into physical bodies.
And that's why we can do a conscious death through, for example, Kachari Mudra. It allows a conscious death.
There's a yogic practice where you can, by conscious will, you can actually leave your physical body, and you can consciously die through samadhi. You can leave your body. Once you understand this, this is very advanced. But so we're not going to go there. But getting back to the simplicity of astrology, is the north and south node. What we find is with twin flame couples, they actually have their north and south node in opposite, because the north node basically speaks of your future karma, where you're going after you complete your mission here on earth. Where are you going next? And the south node is where you've come from. Mm-hmm. And so what we notice in twin couples, they're opposite. So basically one's coming from the future and one's coming from the past to help. And what that does is something really incredible. It helps accelerate one's karmic process. When you use your relationship as a vehicle to ascend together, to clear your karma, but not karma from an understanding of a buildup of negative debt, but karma from an understanding of misused energy. When you haven't used the energy that rightfully, the right use of energy, which is righteousness, when you haven't rightfully used the energy of love, when you've chosen fear instead of that love, different incarnations, it's created you more lessons in order to bring you back to love. And so these vehicles, these relationships are mapped in the stars, and they are like that, so you attract each other. But sometimes one doesn't have the field, or the grid system of the earth wasn't supporting that. 2017, this earth grid shifted. And so this is where we speak about planetary mechanics with the twin ray. There's these two rays of light, these two lines that have come through in pairs. There's 6 pairs that we call them cosmic dragon lines, and they always travel in pairs. They always come together, and they have mapped out this incredible new geometric field and a whole new ley line grid structure on the earth that's assisting the earth to evolve in its vibration. It's assisting the earth to evolve in its ascension, but it's also assisting planetary union. It's also assisting planetary union in relationship to come together, to create more harmony resonance. But as it does that, it's increasing plasma energy, it's increasing gamma rays energy, and it's increasing the unconscious of the earth to come into resolution. And that's why we see some of this planetary disturbance perceptually on the world stage, because there's all this chaos is coming to create a new order. So at a planetary level, there's new structures that are actually being placed in the earth for this ascension in relationship, in community, and in society at large.
And it just so happens that on the day that these lines came to earth and were ignited was the day that we came together. That
we actually met and
in Giza.
In the pyramid, and we actually did a beautiful ritual and merged and married in the King's Chamber.
We did.
So on this day when this took place, so it's and we didn't know this. We had no idea. It was only a year later
after the fact.
when a team of scientists and geobiologists told us, "Oh, did you know that this actually happened on this day?"
And then something exactly.
And then other things that happened.
Many things that came together.
Can we have another 6 hours, please? There's so much that I would love to ask, and look, I've been around the block, but I'm taking in so much wonderful knowledge from you. I know you need to go soon, and there are two quick things I do want us to do. I pulled up your website, so in a moment I want us to just take a look at the website so people know how they can get more of you and what the next steps are to get the wisdom you have to share. But just briefly on this, I run the Love Coach Academy. I've coached about 1,000 couples. I train other coaches. And so what a lot of what I teach and observe is that in most people's relationships, not just romantic relationships, but important relationships, whether it's family or people that they live with or lovers or friends, the shadow is really coming up. And
Yes.
and that, you mentioned soulmates, and I believe we have many, many, many soulmates in this lifetime. And our
Yes.
soulmate relationships help us to see the parts of ourselves that are wanting to be seen, that are wanting to come out of the shadow into the light. But it's usually the parts of ourselves that we have shame about. So we hide it. So it takes a soulmate to bring that out in whatever dynamic of the relationship. So first off, does that resonate with the way you see things?
Absolutely. Shadow diving and going into the shadows is crucial when it comes to doing the real work, because you can't hide when you're in a relationship. The ego can't hide itself. It has to come up. And in order to bring it back to love, really.
The ego fears annihilation in the face of love.
Yeah.
And when you are faced with a reflection, and again, the more advanced the soul is, the clearer the reflection shall be for you.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot hide from that, and you cannot run from that.
Yeah. And so that's a very important, the most important aspect in relationship is to learn more about yourself through the trigger response, or through the unconscious conditioning, because it's just conditioning. It's not really who you are. It's just the conditioning playing out. And that's what a beautiful relationship does. It brings up that conditioning to realize that it's a program script, or it's not really who I am. It's just what I've learned or what I've picked up. So yes,
We're going to do a course on this.
Yeah, we will be.
We've been asked.
We'll be doing a course on divine relationship.
Definitely.
Yes.
When you're ready to do that, let me know that, because I would love to again have you on again. One of our mottos in Love Coach Academy, my company, is the treasure is in the trigger. So because it's true, when we get triggered, there's treasure there. And you said it beautifully. There's a program, there's a story that we're running that is wanting to be exposed for the purpose of us coming into a greater truth. So,
And what we find, beloved Scott, which I'm sure you already know, but that it is likely that whatever's going on in the relationship, you can trace that all the way back to two young children having a relationship together, whether it's a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, 2 6-year-olds, and bringing it all the way back to that space also allows the beloved to go, it's not my adult self. It's not the one that has the rationale and has lived a life experience that is in fact reacting. But that is what reacting is it not? Reacting, acting from what was in the past to bring that back up for holding. And what we also find in what we've seen is that beloveds are holding the same wounding, even though it may manifest itself in a different scenario, it may feel different, but the wounding itself is in fact the same.
And what's very important is that you're never actually in a relationship with anyone else but yourself. You're never truly in a relationship with anyone else but yourself. And when you take full responsibility for the way how you relate to the self, then resolution can come through and harmony can come through. But first you have to go into it. You have to go into those uncomfortable places. You have to sit in them and get into them to come out of them. And when that energy releases, that's the treasure. Yes, the trigger becomes a treasure. So we too share that. We say that a lot. The trigger becomes a treasure, because the trigger is just the uncomfortable state in order for there to be resolution. Because that 6-year-old or that 10-year-old didn't have that opportunity to be resolved through their dynamics of their relationship with their mother or father or siblings. And then the relationship plays out in a certain way for that harmony to come back as a result.
You
And
know,
then the soul gets.
there's an analogy that I think you'll appreciate, and then we'll show your thing, and I'll let you go because I know you need to go. But, you know, scientists have, in the last 15 years, discovered that when people are of a procreation age and they have a good DNA match, the pheromones talk to each other, and that is sexual chemistry. It's like pheromones saying, hey, we would make a good baby together. And that's just been discovered in the last 15 years. I believe what we're all talking about is that there's another level, and that is that when we are dynamically attracted to someone, and it doesn't have to be romantic, but it's our higher self and their higher self says, by coming together, you're going to mirror the very things that you're now ready to look at. You're going to reflect to each other the very dynamics that are now ready to come forward for being honored, being managed, and perhaps being healed. Does that relate? Do you resonate with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And talk about the pheromones. That's like when we speak about bees, you know, when they acknowledge their queen, when they understand, like the hive understands their queen, they understand because and as we understand that, what is the greatest attraction but true divine love? And as we come together in that expression of divine love, not through romanticism or not through a physical attraction, but through true, pure divine love, through virtue expressing itself in physical action, together as one humankind, we then support the earth's greatest ascension as well. And so that attraction is why beautiful shows and beautiful communities like this are here, because it's time to come together as truly one and allow divine love to be the greatest attraction and the greatest manifestation on this planet.
And you know, with that said, one last piece is that through the twin flame unions, again with the dance, it's still moving and it's still requiring and perhaps needing the other, needing that physical interaction, needing that connection to become one, so sexually as well. That is transcendable.
Yeah. For us, we're in what's known as a brahmacharya relationship. So we're in full,
we don't need
that, and we actually don't have. So we're not working with each other through each other. There's not this process.
Very important.
We don't have process. So the difference, how it shows up, the twin flame or a twin ray, there is no process. And there's not even a physical attraction, because you literally are. Like, for example, we don't even really talk to each other. We can say a few words and we already know there's already telepathic bonds. We already know what the other's thinking, feeling, because we're already one. It's like we have two bodies, but really it's just one field, one consciousness. So with a twin flame, they're two separate fields. That's the flame analogy again, two separate fields coming together, coming apart, coming together. With a twin ray, it's just one field, two pillars of
two
light.
manifestations
In the
physical form.
But we're just one being. There is no, Shekinah is just a feminine expression of who I am, and I'm a masculine expression of who she is as spirits. There's nothing separate from that at all.
So as someone who's much more mortal, you know what? She happens to be really gorgeous. And by the way, you know what? He happens to be really gorgeous. So just through the more human eyes, let me just share with you something maybe you've been missing in this one field that you're sharing. Because physical beauty is something we can appreciate as well. So.
And that's part of the playground, and we love that.
We love the playground of beauty.
That.
Everything.
The ceremony of this, of all
making
of
life
this,
beautiful.
We love that.
But we don't feel like it's higher or lower. It's just a different expression.
It was
And
easy
it has
to
a different
understand that when you talked about that it's one field, like you're in the field together. And that's the thing. My wife passed away many years ago. And in my most clear communication with her after she died, she said, I want you to differentiate between your memory of me as a personality, and memories are beautiful, and enjoy the memories. But I am no longer that personality. I am now a field of energy. And I've been working with what does that mean for year. You know, she died 9 years ago. Really, since she shared that with me, it's like, a field of energy. So she can be very big, she can be very focused. And so likewise, it helped me to understand more clearly how the two of you, as twin ray, you're sharing the field. There are two bodies within the field of energy, but it's a field of energy greater than the two bodies, but it is one field of energy. So that was very helpful for me.
Beyond it, I feel the blanket
You're
everywhere.
right. You're right. It's a field of energy, and these are just the manifestations of that field of energy of expressing. But truly, it's just a field of energy, and that field of energy is just simply love.
All right. First of all, thank you for going a little bit later than I know you would reach, but I want to go to your website. It's very easy to go to, everybody. It's twinray.com. For people that are new, they're just meeting you today, what's the next step that you would suggest to learn more or to take next step with you?
Yeah, so we have an Academy app, the TwinRay Academy app.
Let's keep them here so they go to the online academy.
Yeah, so if you go to the online academy, you can download the app, and we have many free offerings. One, for example, Soul Intelligence. If you sign up to that,
if you click on Online Academy, beloved Scott, it will help.
Yeah, you can
click that.
So then there's many different offerings. Our signature course for someone that is very new to us is Golden Age Energetics, and that Golden Age Energetics teaches you basically the roadmap and teaches you your own divinity, basically. So we have different academies focusing on alchemy, astrology, leadership, and healing as well.
And soon to be relationship.
And soon to be a relationship as well. We're gonna do a beautiful divine relationship program. But yeah, so if you wanna learn more, that again, there's lots of free offerings. If there's one course that you'd really feel wanting to do, we would suggest a signature course, Golden Age Energetics. It just really teaches you about who you are as the macro and the micro, and it maps it in. We've had people that have been on the path for
30, 40, 50
years, and they just say that this program alone puts everything into a very clear picture,
and that they've waited lifetimes for it, not only in this life but lifetimes to be together and learning.
And it's all the science of your light body, basically, how to really anchor in your light body.
And where do we find that particular program? I'm going to go back online or back to your website, so just direct me to that.
I'm gonna just
it's so if you scroll down, it's on this one. If you scroll down, it's just under the level 1. So if you scroll a little bit further,
here we go. Signature course, Golden Age Energetics. Okay, great, perfect.
Perfect.
And then click learn more there. So I'm in twinray.com/online-programs for anybody that auditory. By the way, the recording of this is easy to find. Just go to my homepage on Facebook and you'll see it there. So you can easily keep it, share it out to the world, come back and find it. And I know you have to go. I'll stay and I'll answer questions as best I can for a few minutes. And you're going to be back on Saturday Night Alive on May 8th. We're doing our Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine show. And so it's great. We've got Gay and Katie Hendricks, who are kind of my favorite couple of my generation. And then we've got you, who are now my new favorite couple of your generation, or your field of energy, your vibration. So it's going to be a really wonderful show. So that's May 8th. We'll get a chance to see you both again. And
we love you so much, and your beautiful community, and you're truly a pleasure to be with. And
so beautiful. And it'll be wonderful to have you here also. And like we talked about a bit.
So when you come to Ashland, do let us know. We'd love to have you here and
I definitely will do you. And I want to connect you to some of my friends in Ashland, and likewise, I love meeting you. So we'll definitely look forward to that sometime in May, definitely. But I will see you on May 8th. And those of you in our room, I see we still got about 83 people with us. I'll stick around and answer a few questions. God's blessings. Have a beautiful, I know you'll have a sacred Sunday. Take care.
Mwah.
Blessings, blessings. Oh, just going to take a minute to absorb that beautiful, just so much wisdom that we received, huh? You know, I'm kind of snobby, to be honest, about people exuding wisdom because I've been around the block. I've interviewed so many people. I've met so many amazing teachers. And I got to say, they blew me away just now. They really did. I mean, of course, their words and their intellectual understanding of very sophisticated thinking was impressive. But as I had said earlier in the show, I could feel them, the resonance of their voices. They have beautiful voices, but they have beautiful voices because there's an integration, there's a resonance that feels great, just feels really, really yummy, right? So I have not really had a chance to study the chat, but if there's any questions that I can help out with, and again, I certainly want to encourage people to take this video and share it out. Share it with your friends because there's a lot of wisdom. In my mind, I was thinking of some of the people I want to share it with. Definitely, and yes, we can all train our voices. And that's what I appreciate. I mean, clearly they've reached a very high state of consciousness and they have a good capacity to teach us, to help us understand where they are and how to get there. So that's pretty cool. Okay, well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Oh, Suzanne asks what's on the 8th. Well, you know, I am the host and producer of a show called Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe every Saturday night. And on May 8th, our theme is the dance of the divine feminine and divine masculine. And so they're going to be one of our guests that night, along with Gay and Katie Hendricks. And we've got some other amazing people lined up. So definitely join us. It's going to be really powerful. And if you haven't already registered, definitely register. I'll put it in. Go to globalpeacetribe.com. That's where you can register for Saturday Night Alive and to come into the Zoom room. And I'm also going to put in my YouTube channel. And a lot of wonderful things are in the YouTube channel. For example, on Friday night, I had a really deep dive with Elizabeth April, who is, again, very, very similar to the twin rays here in that she's an amazing teacher. She's a millennial. I guess she's even younger than they are. And she's quite incredible. Anyway, you'll find that conversation that we had on Friday night on my Street Talk show. So go to the YouTube channel. I just popped in, and that's where you can find all the previous Straight Talks that I do, Sacred Sundays that I do, and Saturday Night Alives that I do. I like what Brian just wrote. The resonance of divine energy is reflective of their liberation. They are fully liberated beings, ascended masters. That's why we feel so much in our bodies. Thank you, Brian. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And I look forward to having you join me and my guests on Friday night, Straight Talk, Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe, or Sacred Sundays. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All the way in England. I was thinking of England today, Taylor, as they were talking about sacred places, and I was remembering a few times I've been to Glastonbury Tor and just how I felt lying on the ground on the Tor and the vibration that I felt in my body. I was thinking of that when Sananda was talking about ley lines. So it's really wonderful to hear from someone in England because I was thinking of England and one of my favorite places in England. So thank you for that, Taylor. Thank you, Nancy. I see that you were quite active writing today, as usual, and I'm sure there's wonderful wisdom there. So thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful Sacred Sunday, and I look forward to my next connection with each of you. Take care now. Thank you. Ah, Taylor is a priestess of Avalon, of course. Well, send me a private message, Taylor. I'd love to have a conversation with you because I would say that Glastonbury and that area, where all the, I've done several documentaries about crop circles in that whole south area. Avebury, I love Avebury. Everybody goes to Stonehenge. And Stonehenge is nice, but it's been so many tourists there. I notice a lot of the energy is gone. I love Avebury and the stones at Avebury. It's where I felt a lot. And of course, Glastonbury and the tour. So yeah, send me a private message. I'd love to connect with you on Facebook. All right, everybody. I'm going to get some breakfast and digest this wonderful morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.